Hello everyone, my name is Millie and welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. If you haven't watched my videos before and you don't know anything about me, just a little bit of information. I'm enrolled on a theatre dance degree programme at London Studio Centre and I'm on the musical theatre pathway, and I make videos about the performing arts and my general life experiences and things like that, so if you're interested please do subscribe. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking about some of my reflections or some reflections, things I've learned, that kind of thing, in terms of last term, which was from like at the end of the Christmas holidays until the start of the Easter holidays, that term 2. That would have been a better way of saying it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is an injury that I had this term. So it was at the end of February half term that I injured it, on the Saturday before we went back on the Monday, I think. And I rolled my ankle. Now at the time, understandably, I was a bit upset about it. And there were times during the term where I got stressed out about things related to the ankle injury, but overall I think I actually wasn't as upset about it as I might have been, and I think that's partly due to the fact that I felt supported at LSC. I booked an appointment in on the Monday to see someone, and then they booked me in to see a physio by the Wednesday. So I felt like I had quite good information. Okay, so we had some assessments this half term. We had some practical ones and we also had a couple of essays, one essay this past half term, and we had an essay before that as well. Some assessments and one of the essays were formative and some of them were summative. The main kind of assessment week, I feel like that week reminded me again how important self-care, sleep, taking care of your mental health and things like that are. Okay, the essays. So we had one essay which was due in before the February half term. That was a formative assessment, and we also had a longer one that was summative, which was due in the second half of the term. Now the second essay, I think I started it at a decent time. I still ended up spending loads and loads of time on it towards the end, like when it was nearly due in. So I feel like I need to start working more consistently early on, if that makes sense, or like do more on it earlier on. Something for next half term that I want to do more of is go to church more often. On the Sundays when I was there, I didn't go to church that much, and when I did go, the weekend like after term had finished, it was like, oh, it was so good to be here. So I feel like next half term I definitely want to try and go more. I did go to a welcome lunch that they held for new people to the church, and that was really nice. So I'm glad I went to that. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about performances. So I took part in Student Platform. This was Student Platform 2. They had one at the end of the first term, and then they had one the week after February half term. Student Platform is basically a chance for us to share work that we want to. You don't have like a tech run, so it's sort of a bit of an informal showing, if you like, but there's a panel watching you, and then they select people from, or acts, performances from student platforms to go through to something called Spring Collection, and then from there create a show for Spring Showcase, which is tech and things like that, I think. So I entered Student Platform. I actually wrote a song for Student Platform, which was a lot of work actually. I did this over February half term mainly. So I composed music, I created lyrics, I recorded music on the piano and edited the track. So it was like a musical theatre piece song. It had a couple of little dance sections. So it had a ballet dance section and a jazz dance section, and I was intending to do that. However, I rolled my ankle, as I said, so someone else very kindly helped me out by doing the dance sections of the songs. A huge thanks to that person, if they're watching, for doing the dance sections. But yeah, so that whole experience was something quite new for me. Overall, Student Platform was a really good experience. My piece wasn't taken through to Spring Collection, but it was great to just be able to do it at Student Platform. Spring Collection was later on in the term, and not only do they take works from Student Platform, but teachers can also submit works. And we got a message, I think it was people who were on Musical Theatre Pathway, got a message from the head of Musical Theatre and asked if any of us would like to put ourselves forward to be put forward by her, I think, if if that makes sense. So I put myself forward and I ended up singing a song in Spring Collection. My performance didn't get taken through to Spring Showcase, but it was still a great opportunity to perform, and I think there's things I can learn from the experience too, which is good. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is mindset. So something I've noticed is that I do compare myself to other people, particularly in terms of dance, and so I think I want to try and stop comparing myself to other people. And also I noticed that because you know how they say, like, if you don't try you'll never know if you can do it and things like that. I've noticed that I like, if there's something that we're doing that I think, oh, that's hard, again particularly in dance, but I think, oh, that's hard, and then like I'm still happy to give it a go and try it, but I'm almost expecting myself to fail at it, if that makes sense. So I see something, I'm like, oh, that's hard, I don't think I'll get that, I'll do it, but I'm probably going to do it wrong. I think that's kind of the thought process that goes on in my mind, and I feel like that kind of holds me back, and that's not the mindset I want to have. I want to be able to get things, and towards the end of term, having noticed this when we were doing hard things, and I was like, I noticed myself kind of thinking that, I tried to shift it towards the end of term when I thought that maybe that was kicking in with this particular exercise or thing. So that's something I want to keep working on next term, and like try and get rid of or limit that mindset. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to go through subject by subject this time. I will do a quick list of the subjects that we've had this term. So ballet, contemporary and jazz. Point I did as my option. Tap, singing, technique and repertoire was combined into one class for us. Individual singing, musicianship, which I'll talk about in a bit. Lindy Hop, which we had instead of social dance this term. Also the theory related lessons, choreography, and I also did one hip hop class at the end of term because it was open day and there was a hip hop class that I wanted to get involved with. Okay, so kind of related to the mindset thing, I've kind of noticed this term, or like realised or re-realised, or I don't know, but anyway, I've kind of realised that I'm training for this to be my career, and if I can't do something, I want to get better at it. I don't really know how to explain it, but like I want to put more time into getting things right, like more individual practice maybe, and like getting more focused on myself. I guess it's kind of related to not comparing yourself to others, and also the other mindset thing that I was talking about, but yeah, very vague, I know, but that's something that I've kind of begin to realise or sunk in this term. An overarching theme from dance is that I tend to get quite hung up in the details and sometimes lose the bigger picture. In fact, this is kind of an overarching theme in my general life. That sounds very profound and deep, but like, yeah, I can get quite fixated on the little things, the little details, and lose sight of the overall picture. So yeah, that's something I might want to work on. Okay, we had Lindy Hop this term. I think it's quite a fun dance genre. It's a type of partner dance. Google it and have a look at Lindy Hop if you want to see what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about all the different genres, but we were doing a bit of script work and acting, and it was nice to be doing script work again. And in voice, we were doing quite a bit more work on text, which I feel like it could be a good tool for me to use in the future. Musicianship, so I'm going to talk about that because that was a new class for us. So as I said, singing technique class became singing technique and repertoire, and then we had musicianship, which, so the first half of the term was focused on music theory and things like that. Now I've played piano for a while, so my music theory knowledge is quite good, but sight singing is something that we also talked about, and like intervals and things like that, and yeah, I'd really like to get good at sight singing. We also worked on harmonies, like ensemble work, and I like ensemble singing. I really like ensemble singing anyway, so that was good. And then after half term, musicianship became a class where we combined singing and movement or dance. So it was still called musicianship, but it was more of a musical theatre class. So we were looking at singing and dancing together, and also adding in like characterisation and things like that. In terms of singing technique, we learnt a couple more vocal qualities, I think, this term. I think that's pretty much all of the vocal qualities we're gonna focus on at LSC, and we've now learnt those. The final thing I want to talk about is choreography. So in choreography, I created something with other people towards the end of the term. It kind of reminds me of A-level drama a bit. I think it might have done at the time too. It was nice to create something with other people involved in the creative process. And I know it might sound like that doesn't relate to A-level drama because dance and drama are slightly different, but when we did like physical theatre work in drama and things like that, it was that same kind of exploratory, like, oh, what could we do? Or like, I'm in this position, how do I get to this next position? Yeah, so that was nice. I enjoyed that. Okay, and I think that is everything I wanted to share. Now, there were other things that I learned, other reflections that I could probably make, other things that I did this term. But I think that is everything I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do give it a like to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because that would really help me out. And thank you very much for watching. Bye!